guess who just got back from buying a bunch of plants? This girl. Okay, so plant haul. I bought a succulent. I've always wanted a succulent like this. I don't know why. I just think that they're so pretty. I'm sorry, I'm just so exhausted if that's why I sound kind of weird right now. I feel like I spent too much time outside, and I'm about to spend even more time outside repotting these plants. I got this plant as well. I have no idea what it is. It just says number 5 tropical. If anyone knows what kind of plant this is, please let me know so that I can figure out how to take care of it. I also got a tomato plant. I don't know. I just wanted to grow something and see if I could do it. So I got a tomato plant. And then I also got one of these guys. Wow. Look at that. So beautiful. So wonderful. We love this for me. I also got 3 pots. They're like larger pots because all of my other pots are really small and I feel like I need to repot my snake plant. So we're gonna do that today. That's all I got. Oh, and some soil. I got some soil as well. But other than that, that's all I got. So let's repot some of my plants. Hi, so I wanted to paint some color palettes today and then just talk a little bit about color itself because I feel like I actually know a lot about that topic. Who knew? I was thinking the other day that the color choices that I made are intuitive, and I think I always thought that, but I think the more that I thought about it lately, I'm like, no. I feel like I follow a specific set of rules when it comes to color, so I don't know, I just thought I would talk a bit about it and share it with you guys. So I'm going to talk about analogous color palettes, complementary colors, and warms and cools. So let's start with complementary colors. So complementary colors are colors that sit directly across from each other on the color wheel. So complementary colors are, for example, orange and blue, yellow and purple, and red and green. Complementary colors are something that I like to use a lot when I'm painting. I really like to use red and green together. I feel like I somehow managed to sneak that into every video I've ever made, that I love using red and green together. Our eyes are naturally drawn to complementary colors because they're so different from each other, and it creates this huge contrast. One time one of my teachers told me that you can't look at a color without seeing its complement right beside it. And I think a lot about that. Like, you can't see something as blue without seeing an orange right near it. This rule isn't like 100% accurate all the time, obviously, but I think it is pretty close to being accurate. All right, so let's move on now to warms and cools. So warm colors tend to come forward and cool colors tend to sit back. So for example, when we look at a face, you could typically see areas where people tend to use red or tend to use blue. And that's because certain areas of the face come forward. So for example, my nose, my chin, my cheeks, things like that, that would typically be in red. And then things like this side of my face here would typically be in blue. It's receding, or even like underneath my nose or things like that. Those parts go back into the face. Even like parts of the eyes, you could put blue in those areas, and doing that just really creates depth within your work. You want to be able to accentuate certain parts of the face so that your painting doesn't look flat. Learning how to use warms and cools will definitely help you create the illusion of depth. Next up, we have analogous color palettes. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like that's the way I've always said it, so if I'm saying it wrong at this point in my life, I really don't know what to think. Anyway, analogous color palettes. So these are the colors that are right beside each other on the color wheel. You can literally take any combination of colors that are beside each other on the color wheel, doesn't matter, and that is an analogous color palette. Tell me that these palettes are not pleasing to look at. Tell me they're not. I don't believe you. They are. It's a good way to create harmony within your work. I don't know, I don't feel like you could just ever go wrong with it, I guess. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with any of these palettes. Why is there so much honking today? Is everyone okay? Anyway, I wanted to paint a few color palettes of my own. I typically use more saturated color palettes when I'm working, so I kind of want to see if I can create some more muted color palettes and just experiment with that. I think one of the things that people should do more often is experiment with different color palettes and kind of like see what works and what doesn't work. I think especially if you are a younger artist, it definitely helps. Experimentation and art go together like apples and peanut butter. I don't know why I couldn't think of anything that goes together in that moment. Anyway, I feel like if you're really unsure of what you're doing, you should just try to experiment more. Just see what works, because you could come up with something really interesting. Just try out different things. You can try out the color palettes that I've mentioned here, or you could just try your own thing like I'm kind of trying to do right now. All right. So I am done. I think the color palettes kind of look pretty similar to each other, but that's okay. I am okay with that. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys like this video, then give it a like. If you want to subscribe, then subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for I don't know what yet, but I will see you guys next week. Bye.